Let me go now with the biggest and the heftiest bunch, that being the special class. So, because there is so much of them, I will try to be as brief as possible with every single entry to not keep this video overly long, but it's definitely gonna be a long video as is. It's just so many of them. Now, as for the tiers, again, bots will they will only be ranked in a specific tier, but they will not be ranked, for example, they will not be number 1 in a meta tier, and they will not be on number 5. Basically, my point is that, for example, number 1 will not be better necessarily than number 5, because a lot of those bots, especially special class, they do different things, okay? They are absolutely different, and it really depends at the end of the day what do you need them to do. So again, they will be given a tier, but not a ranking within a tier, because you really can't do that accurately. This game is too complex, bots are way too different, and you just can't do it. Okay, now let's get over to the rankings, and let's go with Afterbreaker and Flamewar first. Definitely meta amazing outpost poppers. The low cost, basically for low cost they can pop outpost and combiner and everything. Extremely helpful, especially for high level plays where you can pretty much just avoid all of the outposts. Very incredible sacrifice bots, for sure. No, let's go to it. Tasmanian Kid and Antagony, absolutely meta as well. Very similar in terms of their abilities to Optimal Optimus and Transmetal to Megatron, in an essence that they do a lot of damage in an area. It is damage over time, and it is also elemental. They do electric damage with their first ability, and their second ability does element neutral damage, so just something to consider. Very incredible bots, and they are still very slept on because people are not really aware of how strong they really are. But after they got their 5-star released publicly, they are very solid picks, so if you have them, absolutely upgrade them, you will not really regret it. Now let's go with Impactor. He's going to 4 out of 5. Again, there are melee special bots who just do more damage than he does, so he can't really justify being in the meta tier, but definitely going to a tier below. He's still extremely solid, you know, he's a sort of a balance between a tanky, bulky bot and a fair amount of damage. But he really needs to be a 5-star and with ability level 11 to really shine. And he's very flexible, works with different cores and combats. He's good for destroying bottom parts of the base to help with passing of the rest of your team. He has uses and he's very solid, but time really caught up to him. So just a damage increase will definitely bump him up much further, but you know, he's solid as is. No, let me pull out Orion Pex and D16, yeah. Yeah, 3 out of 5. Look, their ability is just all over the place. Initially it was meant to be basically ranged version of Optimus and Megatron. However, playtesters felt that it was way too similar. This is one of the situations where developers should not have listened to the playtesters, because final ability really isn't that great. It's good early on, but later on, basically he shoots out axes, and those axes affect certain buildings, and those buildings start pulsing a healing pulse. Basically, your bot has to go into the kill zone to be healed, which is, you know, a bit illogical. So yeah, it's a bit of a flawed design, and I did propose a bit of a fix for it in my video about rework, so there we go. Now let me take Snarl and Hunger. Snarl is one of my favorite Dinobots, if not the number 1 favorite, but he's definitely borderline. 1 out of 5, and maxed out, 5-star with Amalgamous Prime Core, struggles with resource buildings. So yeah, that should not happen. He needs a significant damage increase, and he needs a significant survivability increase. That's all. Ability idea is good, you know, it makes sense, but numbers are just quite simply not there, and pretty much just increase those numbers, very simple, and you can make him much better. Now let's see, Skyburst and Onslaught, okay, they were absolutely meta for in the early game. Now they fell off, but I'm still gonna absolutely give them a 3 out of 5 in a useful tier. They have usability, you know, basically their selling point is that they do area damage by default without having a combat, which means they can, you can give them Prima core and a companion combat, and they will be doing primary effect in a huge area. In addition, they are also long ranged by default, so this is very respectable. It will help with survivability a lot. Their ability is a little bit subpar. It does small damage in a huge area, so it really spreads out. Yeah, they have some use, but they are definitely dated at this point. Now let's go with a secret meta bot, Streetwise and Sinner Twin. I did make a video on them recently, so I suggest that you check it out. Because, well, guess what? Because of him, I was able to war against the Horde without a combiner, especially their base 4 and base 5, you know, got a clean 300 over there. And because of them, because they're just so good, they are super steroid for your team. They don't exist as a 4-star, and their ability below level 11 feels underwhelming, but at level 11, it's incredible. It's insane. Absolutely incredible bots. They are super steroid for your team. They do not do much on their own, but on your team they just bump them up further if you know what you're doing. No. Let's see. Brawn and full tilt. Okay. Actually gonna put them in meta-ish, and that's a little bit unexpected to a lot of people. But first off, they're 3 plus 0, which means their ability cost is always 3. They can shoot 2 buildings. Now, initially, they are just going to stun. And if building is stunned, then they do incredible damage. So, their G1 core doesn't increase their ability damage. However, Amalgamous core increases their ability damage. Yeah. And, but yeah, you need to really combo them up. But now, for example, with the Tasmanian Kid and Antagony on the rise, who also stun, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, and I'm absolutely gonna make a video on that as well. But overall, they have a lot of potential now, and Lightning Rod Billboard cores are barely used. You know, everyone has to run Fireproof unless they want their bases nuked by Firebots. So yeah, they have a lot of potential. So if you have this bot, consider building him up. He can be very, very valuable for your team. And now let's go with Elita 1 and Lagnat. They have use, you know, I'm gonna put them in the useful tier because they have a certain use. They're not quite meta. They do decent-ish amount of area damage. However, their ability cost is just absurdly expensive. Just way too expensive. An ability cost reduction will bump them up significantly. So the main way that people use them is to do some complementary damage while being used as sec bots. For example, a lot of people will give them their bot-specific core and something like Forge of Solus, so when they are being sacked, so that they can survive as long as possible and distract those outposts as long as possible. They have some use, but that use is, you know, somewhat niche, and they would be much better if the ability cost would be reduced because it has no business being so expensive. Now let's see, punch and counter punch. I'm going to put them absolutely in the situational for now. They are 4-star at most. They do not have a 5-star ability yet, and yes, they need a bug phase. For example, their ability just does not work properly. He does not actually go invisible, and he does not actually hack. Sometimes he doesn't hack, sometimes he does, but overall he's supposed to go invisible, but he does not. Basically, he just applies stun, and that stun is not really in our large area. He just doesn't work that well. After the bug fix, which they have announced to be coming with the balance patch, we may see a lot more of him, and with 5-star treatment I think he has a lot of potential. The idea is really clever, and we don't really have much something like that, you know, he's like a spy doing his thing, you know, very interesting bot. Let's go now with let's go with Gno. I'm gonna put him in the useful tier. He does high damage, his sharks do high damage, he has high damage stat, but he is very glassy, extremely low HP, he can really easily die, and him being melee special does not help that one bit. He needs more survivability, that's pretty much all there is to it. With more survivability he would be much better. Even with the Quintex combo, his survivability is still not that justified. He needs more survivability to be in the higher tier, otherwise the ability is good, the idea is good, he just needs better survivability. Bumblebee and Scrapnel, definitely putting them in the 4 out of 5 tier. Again, they can stun a large area, deal very respectable damage in that area. Yes, it is damage over time, but you know, if you know what you're doing, you can get a lot out of them. They're very flexible. They work with cores like Prima to increase damage further, which also pairs with their ability to increase that damage even further. Again, there are combos with bots like Brawn and Full Tilt. It complements with the Rust, you know, it increases damage as well. So overall, yes, they do have a great use, and especially for bottom-loaded bases, they can stun a good chunk of the base to have your bots be under a lot less fire and do much more, right? And now let's go with Optimus Prime and Megatron. The Transformers leaders. They're really incredible, absolutely. They can help with pathing, so your bots do not get, so that your squad does not get split. That is extremely valuable, because once squad splits and your healer is chasing your damaged bots and then your healer dies, yeah, and it can be extremely problematic. So if you have a bit of a pathing issues, definitely use Optimus and Megatron. They also apply shield at their ability level 11 to entire squad upon casting the ability, so they're very useful, they're very flexible, they work with a lot of different builds. Overall, very incredible bots, and very reliable. No, let me see. Scattershot and Leozek. I'm gonna put them in the useful. They just need more damage. That's all. They need more ability damage. Their ability has no business doing such a small amount of damage. Everything else, the idea is good, again, design is good, everything else is fine, they just need more damage, a lot more damage. Just put them on par with damage dealing bots like Tasmanian Kid, you know, Leo Prime, etc. Leo is gonna get adjusted, but again, Tasmanian Kid would be a good comparison. Just give them more damage. That's all, literally. And now let's go with Hoist and Crankcase. Definitely going to the useful tier. Again, yes, they need a bug fix, because for example 5-star has a lot smaller ability range than the 4-star, and even then their ability is meant to be pulsing in a much larger area at ability level 11, but it does not. So yeah, after they get a bug fix, I can absolutely see them going into the meta tier for sure once they start working as intended. But before that, I just can't give them more because they're not even working properly. No. Cheetor and Black Arachnia. I'm gonna put them in the useful tier, even though they are bordering the situational tier. But they do have a 5-star variant. They can do decent amount of damage, especially in earlier leagues. They can do really solid damage. But overall, I think they just need to be brought up to more contemporary bots who have abilities of similar nature, like for example Twin Twist and Koala John. They are better examples, pretty much better version of Cheetor and Black Arachnia. So yeah, they just need more damage and more survivability. That's pretty much all to be in a better tier. No. Let's go with Leo Prime and Predacon Inferno. Bots that don't need too much explanation overall. They do insane damage in a very large area. It's also fire damage, so again it is shut down. That's why everyone uses so many fireproof prime cores. Buildbot cores. They just do so much damage, and they will get adjusted in a balance patch to do less damage. However, if they do a good job, they will still absolutely remain in the meta tier, because currently they do overkill damage, right? If they adjust them to, for example, someone like Optimal Optimus and Terrence Metal 2 Megatron, they're still gonna be meta. Very incredible bots. So yeah, I hope that they listen to that and make them really solid. Now, speaking of Optimal and the TM2 Megatron, also meta tier. Unlike Leo Prime, who affects buildings in a line, Optimal Optimus and Megatron, they affect buildings in a radius, right? A very large circle. And they do currently half the damage that Leo Prime does, but that half damage is still very strong and in a lot of cases enough to one-shot buildings, even in Prime League. So yeah, very incredible bots, very reliable, easy to use, they make game much easier, very good source of damage dealing, and yeah, I just love them. They're one of my favorite, personal favorites, so yeah. No. Windblade and Dive Bomb. Yeah, I'm gonna put them in the useful tier as well. They like I said, they are useful. They have a use, There are also sec bots, similarly to Elite 1 and Lagnat, but they have a tiny bit greater range, but just a tiny bit, and in addition to that, their ability is much cheaper. So in terms of sacking, I would more often than not go with Windblade, but again, they have it really depends. It really depends on. I think it's a personal preference. They do similar things. They have their ups and downs, so I think it boils down to personal preference. But basically, very similar to Elita, but does single target damage instead of AoE, and is cheaper. And yeah. Speaking of Sackbots, let's go to Cap and Dead End. I'm gonna give them meta, absolutely, because as a Sackbot, they are really incredible. They can reach very complicated and very problematic areas of the map, where people may cluster their outposts and pretty much kind of pull them out for your bots to kind of chip down at the bottom while they are being in the safety and not in the kill zone, right? So they have incredible use for sacking, and they can also be used especially in lower levels where players just leave their HQ completely open. They can just teleport there and go for the HQ execute, especially if you give them something like a Quintus Prime Core and just put another bot in the bottom who does damage. Yeah, there's some very clever combos that you can do. Chase them with Springer and Astra Train, so they can heal them and do damage themselves. Yeah, there are clever combos that you can do with them. They have a lot of potential and very solid bots, even as a 4-star. They do not have a 5-star variant yet, but they are very incredible. Whew, now, let's go with Trust Dust and Scavenger. I'm gonna have to give her a useful tier. She just doesn't do as much fire damage as Optimal Optimus and Leo Prime. Rust Dust and Scavenger, they just... Again, they're extremely similar to Optimal Optimus and Transmetal to Megatron in terms of their ability, but again, damage is just not there. They're also much squishier. Yes, they are ranged. However, they're just much squishier, and they're just downgraded versions, watered down versions. Very simple. Ability idea is good, just needs more numbers to be in a higher tier, definitely. Huffer and Lockdown, definitely useful. Look, they need to be 5-star and they need to be maxed out. They need the ability level 11, and then their turret, damage dealing turret, basically does about 20k damage on its own in the lifetime, which for Prime League hard mode is enough to destroy maybe 2 buildings. Average buildings, he's not gonna destroy an MDS, especially MDS with the Micronus. But talking about average buildings, absolutely. And he also applies Glass Gas, which increases damage of your other bots. And then again, his healing towers his healing turrets can actually heal combiners, so that's also something to consider. Overall, he has uses, definitely, and he just needs high investment. He has potential, so if you're a Huffer fan, Lockdown fan, he can be used, but it's gonna be a little bit difficult and expensive to get the most out of him. Let's go with Ultra Magnus and Galvatron. Plays rework tier, definitely. Look, Galvatron is really solid, and Galvatron alone could probably go into the useful tier because he's solid. But Ultra Magnus is different. They are not really paired up. They do different things to an extent, and Ultra Magnus has problems with the way that his ability quite simply does not hit as often. Sometimes just doesn't hit, and again, they are being reworked actively as we speak, and rework has been put on a bit of a hiatus because of the changes, transfer to Yoda 1. But overall, I think they will do a good job with them, like they have done with the previous legacy bots, and I think they have a plenty of potential, and yeah, that's pretty much it for them. Now let's go with Beachcomber and Deluge, absolutely meta. Just about the only outpost that is a must-have, really. They are just incredible. They do so much damage, so much. They do damage from the reflect. They do not do damage on their own. Their damage is actually quite low. But the reflect that they do can absolutely heavily cripple teams, if not completely destroy them. They are an absolute nasty boss to deal with, and even on offense they are very powerful with their hacks. They do damage indirectly. Pretty much very powerful punching bag that can hack, reflect it, and just doesn't die. Yes, they're going to get nerfed, but I think that nerf is very well deserved, because you need to pretty much gear up your entire team in a way to deal with them, and yeah, it's a bit too much, you know. It's only Outpost in the game that needs that you completely gear up your entire team to deal with him. So yeah. Now let's go with Alpha Trial and Tarn. Meta-ish, definitely 4 out of 5 tier. They're very useful. Again, the support buffs that they provide to your team are extremely useful. And also their G1 core is basically my Cronus, which heals a good chunk of your squad for a very fair amount of HP. They help with survivability, they help with damage. Great bots overall to use, you know. Very solid, and if you're a fan of them, especially a lot of people are fans of Tarn because his design is really amazing. He's a pretty badass bot. Yeah, they have a lot of potential and very solid bots. Let's go with now Optimus Primal and BW Megatron. Borderline, definitely, even as a 5-star. Their ability, they're just suicidal inherently. Their ability puts them in the kill zone, and they have no way to survive being put into that kill zone. So yeah, overall they can be solid if they just have 90% to even 100% damage reduction for a period of time where their ability is active, so they can actually, you know, not die. And again, 100% is not outlandish at all, because they are bots already, like Jumpstream and Scrapper, who at ability level 11 have 100% damage reduction, 100% HP increase on top of it. So yeah, I think they can be fixed in a very simple manner, but now currently their design is flawed. But again, very simple fix. Okay, now let's go with Buster and Half Shell. Absolutely meta. They can do incredible amount of damage to a single target. They can one-shot majority of buildings. Only buildings that they can't really one-shot are MDS. However, if you have a bot like Inferno and Rodimus Unicronus who boost ability damage, then Roadbuster and Half Shell can absolutely 100% one-shot even those buildings. They can really pair well with other bots like Air Raid and Slipstream, Brainstorm and Guy-Hog, you know, to trigger their explosions. They can take down Shield Gen, take down the Micronus building. They have uses, absolutely, and very good bots to consider using. Now. Chromium, Felbet. Useful tier, 3 out of 5. They have been pretty much nerfed with the release of the 5-star variants. Basically all they did before was apply a lot of stunning. Now they removed stunning. Basically they stun, their stun has a 50% uptime, and they do a little bit more damage, but no one really asked for that, you know. We asked for them to be buffed because a lot of even new players can deal with them quite easily. I have a video on it as well. With their old design, they just stuns. They are very easy values to deal with it. Yeah, no, I can't, you know. It's a completely superfluous nerf, and they are going to do some adjustments in the balance page, but yeah, not too happy about it. Let's go with something more happy about, and that is Red Alert and Ranamak. Must have Outpost, definitely, and very solid on offense as well. They protect your team, they protect your base, you know, letting your team and your base heal up. They also prevent stuns. They're also ranged, and so they can wield guns like Nightstick and Fiakas, who can block healing. Very flexible in terms of their cores. They can go with different prime cores. You can go with their G1 core. Very flexible, and a lot of uses with this one. Let's go on with Blaster and Soundwave. 4 out of 5 meta-ish, and they are falling out. Look, they're absolutely falling out. They just need more stats, pretty much. More stats on their own and more stats for their minions, and they could absolutely be bumped up further. And they received some long ago. People consider it nerf, but basically, before, when you cast their ability, where you tap, that's where the minions would be dropped, and it was much easier to pop outposts that way. Now he pops outposts no matter how far you cast the ability. He pops minions relatively close to you, so minions cannot be really used for popping outposts that easily anymore. If they would return that, the proper, to a proper cast, then he could probably go into the meta for sure. But this way, that was a completely unneeded nerf, and I'm just not happy about it. Now the bottom that I'm a little bit more happy about and who work similarly is Vector Prime and Nova Prime. Basically they make a portal, applies acid and blocks healing. They do their the decoys, jump out, they do damage, they explode, they pop outposts, they apply acid. Very, very solid outpost poppers. Again, better outpost poppers than Blaster and Soundwave. They are also ranged, so they can, use a wide variety of range combats, especially bots like Nightstick and Fracas, again, who help with healing and are pretty much one of the best combats in the game, and they automatically bump up any bot that you have on it. But yeah. No. Slash and Reaper Snapper. 4 out of 5. Look, she can do decent amount of damage and stuns, as outpost she is really solid, but there are just bots who do it all better, she is okay, but again, there are bots in the higher tiers who do what she does better. So yeah, pretty much, she has some uses by going invisible, she does decent damage, she stuns, she has a good chance to stun a single target she's attacking, her G1 core is pretty much a must. Definitely the best pick on her as well, because it gives her a lot of health and lets her go invisible, and also increases her damage significantly while she's invisible, which is also when she's casting ability. So yeah, her G1 core is absolute must. Again, solid bot, but she just needs more to be in a higher tier. Now, let's go with the Blur and the Runabout. 4 out of 5 as well. They're very solid sec bots, they can be used to pop outposts, and currently there is a bit of a funny combo where you can apply Beach Cobra and Deluge ability on them and pretty much just run around with your Blur and Runabout, who will start hacking everything nearby. Same thing can also be applied to Octobreaker and Flame War. But Blur and Runabout do it a little bit differently, so some people found it, it's a funny combo to use. But overall nothing super meta breaking, and that may actually also change with the Beach Combo's nerf. We do not know extent of that nerf, so the combo may change, but I just thought to, I think it's worth mentioning if people are unaware of it. Now, Rodimus Prime and Motormaster, gonna put them in the useful tier because they have usefulness, especially for raids. They make your melee bots do a lot of damage around them. They're very solid, they can hold some decent prime cores and help out, but otherwise for wars melee bots are really complicated to use for wars, especially, it pretty much demands a melee heavy team, and it's just not applicable for wars with so many prime cores, Leash that hacks you if you come nearby, a Megatronus that burns you even from far away, Prima that makes her bots receive a lot of damage even from far away. Yeah, for wars he is definitely has fallen out for sure, but he has a lot of usefulness still for raids. And yeah, very solid for raids pretty much. Perceptor and Bombshell, yeah, also gonna put them in the 3 out of 5 useful tier. They do hacks, but they do not hack that much. Pretty much a discount version of Blades and Dirge in an essence. They are okay, but again, if you want a lot of hacking, there are bots who do it just better, quite simply. Hound Vamp and Soundwave Hiss don't exist as a 4-star at most, and I'm gonna put them in the situational tier. Now, their ability has potential, but it applies glass gas. But the problem is it's on a really large area, and it makes your bots target that large area, so your bots the squad may actually split. And also they will do one bot may do damage to one building, other bot may do different damage to other buildings. So unlike someone like Optimus Prime and Megatron and Ariel and Scylla, who target who make one target a priority, they make multiple targets a priority, which can actually lead to squad splitting. They have potential, but I think the design needs to be a little bit adjusted, and it could be done with the release of the 5-star variant, but currently, yeah, they are situational at best. Speaking of another, BW Prowl and Ramhorn, I'm gonna put them in the borderland tier because their design is also really flawed. They are ranged bots that go with their ability into a melee range, pretty much similar to Cheetor and Black Arachnia. However, their ability just does less damage than Cheetor and Black Arachnia, and also has much smaller survivability, so overall they're just watered down Cheetor and Arachnia, who are watered down version of Twin Twist and Coalition. So yeah, not much to write home about. They need a lot to be good. Another bot who needs a lot to be good is going to be SG Goldbug and SG Shockwave. Their design is very similar to Brainstorm and Skyhawk, except these guys they do less damage. With their ability they end up targeting much less buildings. So yeah, they can be very solid if they bump up their damage to be on par with Brainstorm and Skyhawk, and in addition to that, if they can affect at least a similar, if not greater, amount of targets. But as they are currently, they are very underwhelming, and they excel at like gold, maybe platinum league. That's where they peak. You know, above that, you're not gonna have much value out of them at all. They also only exist as a 4-star. They don't have a 5-star variant yet. So, yeah. Now let's go with the top speed and Terraman. They're gonna put them into 4 out of 5. They are really solid. They do fair amount of damage with their ability. They can, one-shot a fair amount of things. And in addition, they apply this slowdown, which you can really feel it. It makes a lot of buildings do a lot less damage for a very fair amount of time. They do have this combo with Skylinks and for the Subticons that is Blitzwing. But that combo, you aren't really gonna use that combo because Skylinks and Blitzwing in their own right are also bots that pretty much peak in Platinum, maybe Caminus League. So yeah, they're pretty good on their own. They don't need that combo. They have their uses, so they're also ranged. So again, same thing with Nightstick and Fracas that I keep repeating. Now let's go with Laser Optimus and Armada Megatron. Also in the 4 out of 5 meta-ish tier, they can help with pathing. They do element neutral damage. In addition to that, they stun at ability level 11, so they can help with pathing, especially on the top-loaded bases that have, the bottom parts being a little bit split, that want your squad to split. You can put him, for example, on the other side, the rest of your squad on the opposite side, and, he can just help with pathing, clean up a decent chunk, and also he can stun outposts once they're pop. He has some uses, but overall, a significant damage increase would bump him up further up. Grapple and Dirtbag also going into 4 out of 5 meta-ish tier. They have a valuable thing in which they can block healing by being element neutral. Basically, antidote cores do not affect their heal block. They also do decent damage with their mine. But yeah, that's about it really. Again, there is a lot of value to all of those things that they do, but them being, their stats are a bit, nothing to write home about. And in addition, being melee specials is a really, how do I call it, uncomfortable position to be in. So yeah, they can be a bit difficult to use, but they have a lot of potential and they have some value. If they don't die, yeah, that's pretty much it. Their ability also attracts targets, so it kinda acts as a pseudo tank. But yeah, you're gonna have to really understand how to use them if you want to get the appropriate use out of them. Hot Rod and Nemesis Prime also in the 4 out of 5 meta-ish tier. They are solid on defense by making one building pretty much unkillable. They also make themselves unkillable for a period of time. With their G1 core, they also increase the speed. They can, they're also ranged, so they can use, again, guns like Nightstick and Fracas. So, there are some creative uses out of them that you can do. You can combo them with other bots, like, again, you can make your Twin Twist and Coalition unkillable for a period of time while they go and run around and do their thing. So there are definitely some uses for this bot, absolutely. You know, you can make your sec bot unkillable for a period of time, you know, especially someone like Afterbreaker and Flame War. There are uses, you know, if you can think outside the box, yeah, those bots are very valuable, but otherwise, you know, yeah, otherwise, you know, currently Beachcomber Deluge pretty much do the same thing, but a lot better and a lot more. Star Saber and Dead Source, look, they're very expensive, and they need a specific build. So I'm kinda split between 3 out of 5 useful tier and maybe even 4 out of 5 meta-ish tier. Again, they do fair amount of damage with their ability. They can stun, they can tank, because basically at ability level 11 they get 70% damage reduction for 20 seconds. Yes, their ability is very expensive, but they are bulky for that period of time. They can do fair amount of damage if you have, basically they need their bot specific core and their bot specific combat, being Victor Leo and the Tiger Chest, who also apply slowdown. No one is immune to the slowdown. Slowdown is also 70%, so they have uses. They can help deal with popped outposts, you know, much better. They can stun, they can slow them down, they can do fair damage on their own, but their ability is so expensive. So again, I'm kind of split between 4 out of 5 and 3 out of 5. Again, they're hard to use for a lot of people. So for a lot of people, they will perhaps be in the 3 out of 5. But if you know how to use them, you can get a lot use out of them if you know what you're doing. So I'm gonna let them slide for now in the 4 out of 5 meta tier, 4 out of 5 meta-ish tier. And in addition, Victor Leo and Tiger Chase will also be buffed, in an essence that they will be able to equip to other bots. However, they will give even more buffs to Star Saber and Dead Source. So other bots I did not really, you know, I'm giving Star Saber and Dead Source benefit of the doubt, so I'm gonna let them slide right now in the 4 out of 5 meta tier. But again, they're pretty bordering. They're bordering this tier. So again, if you know what you're doing, they can be very useful, but otherwise, not so much. Sentius Twins, 4 out of 5 meta-ish, definitely. They can do very fair amount of damage. They have damage reduction. They are from their ability. They are really amazing with the Amalgamous Prime Core. They absolutely need their Sword of Balance, their boss specific weapon. Unfortunately, that weapon is locked behind a badge of weapons that is extremely expensive for whatever stupid reason. It costs 50% more than the regular 5-star combat. It makes no sense, really, especially for a weapon that can be only equipped to one bot. But it is what it is. Overall, they are solid. In the current meta game, if they just did more damage, they could absolutely go into the meta tier, but currently they do damage that is fitting for the meta-ish tier. Basically, there are melee special bots that just do more damage than them, and that's pretty much it's simple as that. Rhinox and Tarantulas, also gonna put them into 4 out of 5 meta tier. They are solid outposts, but again, the list is more about offense, and for offense they bring value in a sense that they can be used as sec bots. With their boss specific core, they can apply slowdowns. You know, they can pretty much paralyze, especially popped outposts. They can pretty much paralyze them, so give your squad a better fighting chance. Again, similar to Star Saber and Dead Source in that sense, kind of. You know, it really depends. You know, it's situational, but a bit more useful than situational. Again, a little bit hard to use, but if you know how to use them, you can get a very fair amount of them out. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for this video, and this is probably already gonna be extremely long because there's just so many of those bots, and I tried to not go too much in depth with each and every single bot, but I probably ended up doing so. But overall, I hope you found this helpful, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this one, and see you in the next one.